Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dirty Talks podcast presented by Whoop. I'm Maghalie, and on Dirty Talks, Lucinda and I take you deep into the muddy and beautiful world of cyclocross. We'll dive into our own race experiences, chat with the biggest names in cross, and we'll give you a peek inside the world of professional cyclocross racers. Basically, we're here to celebrate the sport we love with you all, and maybe even reveal a few dirty little secrets about what really happens out there on the field. So before we dive into today's podcast, I would like to ask you if you can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, or wherever you listen, and join us each week on Dirty Talk.
We are coming to you from Benidorm, where the Dutch and Belgian seniors trade winter chills for sunshine and cold cervezas. Life here usually follows gently by, with long afternoons on the cafe terraces and quiet evenings by the sea. But not this weekend. That calm is gone. Spanish fans are ready to turn up the volume as cyclocross takes over the town. And speaking of Spanish passion, we've got a special guest who knows this place inside out and is making waves on the international cross scene. So grab your favorite drink, sit back, and get ready for a wild episode.
Let's get dirty with Lucinda, and Maghalie, Rochette.
At just 29 years old, Felipe Orts is proving he's a force to be reckoned with. Known for his relentless grit and technical skills, Felipe has been making huge strides in a World Cup circuit, gracing the podiums more than ever before. So what's behind his impressive rise, and how far can he go this season? Let's find out as we take a closer look at his journey, his tactics, and what makes him one of the most exciting riders in 2025. Welcome, Felipe, and thank you so much for being here.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me to the podcast.
So how do you feel? I bet you are where are you now? How do you feel? You've just won nationals for the 7th time in a row. How are you doing this morning, Felipe?
Yeah, now I'm a little bit tired after the Spanish champion was really hard. Really cyclocross race with a lot of muddy in Galicia, long travel also. Spain is big, and finally it's like a race in Belgium. 1,000 kilometers from my home, but now I come back at home for next race close to Villajoyosa in Benidorm, only 5 kilometers now. Finally, this weekend I'm the local rider.
This weekend is your weekend.
Yeah, of course, it's super special weekend for me in Benidorm. The two last edition was amazing. The fans was crazy, and I think this year a little bit more because I'm already in good season now, and I think everybody is excited with the next race in Benidorm.
Yes, we will dive into that a bit more later. And first, I was really wondering what the Spanish jersey is meaning to you. I think people who listen, they probably watch like, oh, Spanish national championships, for sure, Felipe will win it easily. But still, it's a race, you have to race. And like, what does it mean for you to participate and wear that jersey during the season?
Yeah, for me, always the national champs is a difficult race. It's a big pressure for me because everybody told me, yeah, you win easy. No, cyclocross always is super difficult sport, and everybody want have a jersey during 1 year. And finally, you told before 7 times in a row. It's first time for a Spanish guy wins 7 titles. And I'm happy with this, but always is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive. So congratulations for doing it again. And you have been making Spanish fans proud, I bet, like being on a podium so many times this season. So we will dive into all of that. Like the way our podcast is structured to give you an idea is like we like to talk a little bit about what just happened in the previous weekends. Then we talk a little bit about recovery and things like that. And then we'll dive right into getting to know you a lot more. But I think it could be interesting to talk a little bit about nationals from other countries, you know? Like, is there anything, Lucinda and Felipe, that you've observed? Like, have you watched the other races? Like, what did you think was a surprising factor or something is worth talking about all the national championships that happened this past weekend?
Oh yeah, nationals is always a lot to watch, of course. Me personally, I only watched the Belgium race because the Dutch one was not on TV, so nothing to watch there. But the Belgian one was an exciting one, and my teammate Thibaut, he won, so that was amazing, of course. But for me, what was special in the Belgium races is that Team Powell Sauze missed out on a medal at all. And well, they always are on the podiums and everything, but yeah, it was definitely not their day. And Sanne Kant, she did not start it. She was wearing the jersey for 15 years, and it's her last season. And she decided it was fair to give other riders also, like, she didn't want to win the race, you know, like, and then that the jersey was not there next year. So Marion Ribeiro is a new one. What else? Marianne Vos, I was expecting her to get a medal, you know, in the Netherlands, but a muddy, heavy race with ice in the ground, and she ran out of energy. So something I think does not happen so often for her, which meant she became fourth. And at the men's international championships of the Netherlands, it was Tibor Del Grosso. He's under 23.
Under 23.
But so he won both titles because he won the overall, just in a really close battle. It is really crazy.
I think another cool thing about the Dutch national is like the return of Joris, your teammate actually, Felipe. So he returned for the first time this season. He was the defending champion, and he got second place, which is quite incredible for his first race back.
Third he was, yeah.
Third, sorry about that.
But still incredible.
Like exactly. Felipe, Joris is your teammate. Have you trained with him this season? Like, did you know he was on form like this?
Yeah, I think he come back in good performance yesterday in the national champs. I followed the race via WhatsApp, and finally he can stay in the podium. I think it's important for him. He come back after bad in legs because no, it's like a broke a collarbone or something. It's the herpes zoster is very hard for the body. And finally come back in his level. He's a super good rider, and I think it's possible he will have good races now until the end, because he's strong and now is confident in himself, and it's super good news for the team, because the new team, he's normally in before the start of the season, he had the leader. He changed the team for a new relay racing team, and finally starts season now, and I think he come back on the podium is good for everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
Have you done team trainings with him so far this season, or not yet?
No, now today I start a training camp here in Altea, around to World Cup in Benidorm, but never before trying together, only in the team presentation, because he want come back before Christmas, but her body no responds good, and finally come back now, but I think now is 100%.
Very cool. It was an exciting weekend, and it's fun to see. I think like when we start racing again after new champions have been crowned, it's always surprising when you get to the start line and you have to it's like you have to learn again who is wearing the jersey, because sometimes you're used, like, you see the Belgian jersey, you're like, this is Sanne, but it's like, no, this is not, and like
not anymore.
Races differently, and you have to like adjust to that. So it's always
Absolutely.
fun, always big races, and always fun to follow. So Very cool.
And there are actually, for the people who really watch in women's racing, don't look to the Hungarian jersey around the shoulders of Blanca Vaz anymore, because she did not participate either. She was also already in Spain training. Also, the Italian jersey changed shoulders, like we say. Sara was starting finally after all her sickness, but she had bad luck and she could not finish the race because of some problems. So a real bummer for her, of course. Then what's still also for me really impressive is that Michael Boras, he also became champion again in Czech, and he beat the record which was owned by Stibar, which is a huge name as well. So yes, so much going on. Actually, that's really cool, and maybe even is sad that we can't follow everything live on TV some moments.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Cool. And I mean, now, what about recovery? So, like, we're all in a different spot right now. So, Felipe, you raced this weekend. You're, I bet, like, balancing recovering from the event, but also preparing for what may be your most important World Cup of the season. I don't know. We can talk about that. Lucinda, you have not been racing this weekend because you're preparing for the final of the season. And I'm still trying to recover from being so sick and trying to be able to train, which has been a struggle. So we're all in different spots. How are you guys feeling? And according to that, we also had questions from the audience about supplements this week. The audience wanted to know if we use supplements, and if so, how we use it to make sure that we stay healthy throughout the season. So, I mean, first of all, maybe Lucinda, you can tell us, like, how has it been for you in Spain, and how did you know it was, like, you felt recovered enough from the curse period and it was time to start pushing in training again? Like, what do you pay attention to know that?
So, yeah, I first really took some days off to really just enjoy the sun. That was also a reason to go straight away. I knew it for sure would be better weather, and only seeing the sun instead of a gray area around you is making your mind much better, of course. So, and then I did some easy rides here around just on feeling. Nothing had to be done, and that's also a really nice thing that you can ride without pressure. Then I took another rest day, and yeah, I could feel it on how much sleep I needed. Like, I had some days slept way more than I'm used to. So once that was like that, I actually woke up without the alarm on a normal time, I knew, like, okay, yes, I'm back. It was one of the main things, I have to say, yes. But also pointing on, like, the supplements. Actually, I'm not a huge fan of taking them. I'm always like, oh, my body should take them out of the food and everything. But yes, in the winter especially, we don't see so much sun and everything. And the vitamin D is anyway quite hard to really take, even if you are in the sun all the time. And first, I didn't really believe it. Or, I mean, I was not really strict on it to take it. But now I am. And I think I do feel it. Otherwise, I mean, it probably is one of the reasons why I kept feeling good also during this hard period just behind me. So I think it's one of the little steps that I did. Like, this was also one that I really changed to be really strict on taking that. So I'm definitely going to keep on doing that. And yes, it's then a bummer actually that I didn't have Whoop already last year, because then I didn't really do it, because you can also add, of course, in your journal that you did it. So that could show you a bit more about, like, your recovery or how much your health. But yeah. So Felipe, I guess you maybe flew like an internal flight today after your race, or did you do it straight after? And, like, is there anything special you do then to recover again after the race?
Yeah, for me, no is an option. Skip the national champs because it's one of the most important races in the year for me. because it's important for me, for the team, have a Spanish jersey in the cyclocross peloton. And of course, after Christmas period, I continue a little bit tire. I think it's hard for every riders. Every rider, I think, also a little bit sick after the Christmas period, like cold, hard races, and I think it's normally. And I think yesterday I wasn't absolutely recovery. But I am a rider. I need races for good performance, and now I have the big goals in Benidorm and the next two, the last World Cups in Maasmechelen and Rochette and the Worlds, and really only have 3 weeks more in the season. After the Worlds, so big races also, Super Prestige and X2O. But it's different feel, different atmosphere. It's only enjoy without training. Only need easy ride after the Worlds, and now I need push the rest of my power for finishing the season.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's interesting what you both shared about that. Like the vitamin D, I also started taking it, Lucinda, and I think it does help. That for me, I take that and iron at times because I tend to get low on it. But you talked about like how you track it in the Whoop journal, and then it is nice because then it can see trends of if it helps or not. And for me, what I found that it really helps is I put it in the journal, and when it asks me the question, it's sometimes I would forget to take it, but then it reminds me, like, did you take it?
Yes,
like,
because
actually,
it's in your journal.
I have not, and like then I can take it, So that's kind of how I like it. All right, I think it's time for getting to know you a little bit more, Felipe, if you are ready for it. So
we're really going to dive into it now, huh?
we're diving in, and we want to start from the beginning. How does a boy from your village, how does someone from the Costa Blanca get into cyclocross? Like, can you talk about how you first encountered the sport and how you decided to race cyclocross? Like, how did you know about it?
Yeah, I started my cyclocross career super young, in 10 years. I started my first races in cyclocross. We have in La Comunidad Valenciana a good cyclocross challenge. Okay, no international challenge, but a lot of races. Now I think 20 races in La Comunidad Valenciana. And now it's a popular airport, but 20 years ago, no. And I start only it's like a joke, because in summer I ride a bike on the roads always, and in winter we need more bike. And the cyclocross is a different modality, and every children's prefer cyclocross in winter than road in summer. Later, when start most important categories like cadetes or junior, I prefer stop my cycling season in summer for prepare good the cyclocross season in winter. And okay, in junior win the national champs just before the Alex Aramburu and Diego Sevilla, now two good professional riders in road. And every year my cyclocross career was one step more until now. Finally, I think this year changed the Spanish team, moved to Belgian team. I think is the last step for finally riding in good team and stay in the top 10 at world. I think is my place now. I think I use all steps until the last from the top, and I want to continue in the same line.
But when you was 10 years old, did you knew if you was going to really want to do this sport, that you would end up being till above your ankles in the mud. I mean, it can be raining in Spain, but you're not that muddy, right? Here on the Costa Blanca, where you live.
Yeah, especially the first years in cyclocross, always I win the dry races. I'm good rider in dry races, but later in mud races, always win the Basque Country guys or Galicia, Asturias, the north. But finally, the muddy is really technical, and I'm good in the technical zone. And finally, I prefer now mud that dry. But of course, I'm good rider also in tracks like Benidorm, because it's always my underground.
Yeah, it's cool. You said how you started, and you said like a lot of riders like they do road in the summer, and then there's cyclocross that's offered in the winter to keep riding. What I found interesting at the Benidorm World Cup is it made me think about the North American cyclocross scene, where before, when there are the professional races on the same day, there's also races for kids and families and other categories. And I think like the Benidorm World Cup is like that, just the day before us, before we go for pre-ride, there's actually races for kids. And so it's cool that the scene is offered for everybody like that, and that at the same races, the kids are allowed to watch the pros. So I bet, so like is that's the circuit that you were talking about that you kind of grew up on?
Yeah, last weekend in the national champs in cadete category, start 110 riders is a lot, and also 60 in junior. I think is a good number for the popular modality now in Spain. And I think is a good moment for cyclocross in Spain. In the World Cup in Benidorm is also important. And you told the day before, every riders until children's, from children until masters can ride in the same track that the next.
Yeah, well, I was wondering, you maybe are very known in your village and in the area, but do they really know what the sport is? Or how do you explain on a neighborhood who doesn't know it, what you're actually doing, what kind of sport?
Yeah, just before the start the World Cup in Benidorm, a lot of people told me, it's impossible cyclocross in Benidorm because every fans is in Belgium, no in Alicante, no is a popular airport. But I think that the 10 years more or less, everybody know the cyclocross in Spain. Also in the last 3, 4, 5 years, Matthew Van Boot ride in the Tour de France and a big sprint classics, and everybody know the cyclocross about after know these riders. And also I think now we have a lot of races here in a lot of towns. And okay, no, it's like Belgium or like in Netherlands, but some people know the cyclocross now, and I think for the riders, for Spanish riders, is most important continuing same line for a most popular effort.
That's cool. And so I'm curious about your setup now. So like it was the first year that you signed for a Belgian team with Ridley. So did that change anything to your setup? Do you feel like it contributed to your... I mean, you've been progressing kind of steadily over the years, but this year has been especially incredible. Can you talk a little bit about that change? Like, what is your setup? Do you now live in Belgium? What has the new team setup have changed for you?
Yeah, really, I think change the team no is a big difference for me. Okay, it's one step more, but I ride 3 years for a Burgos BA. I was professional 4 years ago. This part is more or less the same, and now I use the same trainer, same same mechanic, same massager. Finally, my personal team is the same. But of course, I think now the most important things is that if I have any problem in Belgium, the solution is in Belgium, not is in Spain. There's the big difference. But I continue life in Alicante. I prefer come back during the week here because my family is here, my friends is here. Really, it's it's a little bit more tired because every weekend I need take the plane for come back in Belgium. But I think is the best for me because in Belgium 1 week I'm okay, but after 1 week without race it's difficult for me, and I need come back with the sun and with my family, and I think it's important. And now if I move to Belgium for all winter, I think after 1 or 2 months I'm dead.
Yes, I can relate.
I'm
Just
sure.
wanted to say that. Yeah, it's not so
it's-
easy to live there.
And Felipe, like when I do the North American circuit, like usually for me, the first 2 months of the year, I do it here, September, October. And it's the same thing. Like I have to fly every weekend to the races, and then I come back to my home. And to me, like, although maybe, it means you take the plane often or you travel a lot, to me, I perform better when I can have like those 4 days at home in between to like see my family and train normally and have access to the things that I need, a gym and things like that. I perform better if I do that than if I stay in one place. So it's cool that you found the setup that works for you. And I think it's cool that your team is supporting that too, that like you want to go back home and they're not, they're supporting what works best for you and not forcing you to stay or, so that's pretty cool.
What I'm wondering is, do you try to always catch a plane on the Sunday evening still, so you have the whole Monday to recover at home?
Yeah, normally fly Friday in the morning. I prefer fly. My best plan is fly Friday in the morning and arrive in Belgium. Easy ride, 1 hour and a half or 2 hours is perfect. Later, a little bit siesta. It's normal in Spain, and full rest, calm. And later, after the race Sunday, normally we have a good combination from Brussels to Alicante. And I sleep at home because the cyclocross season is 5 months, I think, more or less. And if you change your flight Sunday and Monday, you have finally 20 days less at home and 20 days more in Belgium. And I think it's important, it's good combination, and I can come back home every weekends because we have super good flights for go and come back.
Yeah, what that place, you're really good situated, actually. You're lucky with that. And you told that you actually, last year, you raced as your own team. And you said you brought actually your whole team with you to the Ridley team. So like you said, your mechanics and stuff. Your mechanics, are they Spanish and they fly up and down with you, or are they Belgium?
Yeah, the mechanic fly with me this year. Yes, okay. I think it's important because after the race I come back the team house and it's good. Sometimes you prefer stay alone without stress, but after some days alone you can come back crazy, and I think it's better speak with the Spanish guys. Really, it's my friends. One mechanic is the 4 years in a row with me, and the other one is new guy, is a young guy, but it's good. Really my friends, a lot of days together, and I think it's important to have a confidence with your personal team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yes, it's really important. So you said you have a team house where you can stay, because that's then really nice that you have a place where, like, kind of a base.
Yeah. Now I live in Borselar, in the Bob the Corner house. Is a famous guy in Belgium, and all is prepared for a riders. I'm super comfortable in Belgium. Sometimes some weeks I stay in Belgium during the week for train cyclocross with Richard Gronendal, with Dan, normally with Jori, but not this year. And it's important also this part, because never had before a sport director in cyclocross. Always ride for a road teams, and in winter I go with my mechanics and only the structure from the team, but not with a with a sport director. Now it's important the plus director in the race.
Yeah, so Richard Groenendaal, he's your sport director, and he's so experienced, has done so many races in the period with Sven Nys and all those battles that people will remember. But what does he add then for you? Because you said that's really something extra and special. So what mostly is he adding for you?
No, really, I think this year everybody told me you changed something for more step in your performance in the races in World Cup, and finally I think it's only one step more. Last year I had good races also and closer to the podium in Maasmechelen was 5th place and was podium in Niel also, and I think this year only one step more. I'm more solid in the hard races, but I finally is only one step more. Really, the trainer is the same 10 or 11 years ago, and every winters I'm better than the last one, and I think this year is the same. Really, the change the team is important for my confidence, but the rest is more or less the same.
Is Richard then? Yeah, is Richard then giving some last advice for your final, or you improved in the muddy races a lot, to be more steady during the season? So is it something that he talks with you about? Stay calm in the final, or this or that, or does he have some tricks for you that you didn't know?
Yeah, in first part of the season, the first races together, I speak with Richard. I want to use this pressure, and he told me, no, you need to use the same pressure same pressure in front, in rear. No, I prefer more or less pressure in front, and every race we have a difference, and finally we now stay in a medium line. But I think he know me a little bit better, and finally he can use my best in the race.
Yeah, of course, you both need to get to know each other as well. That's normal.
Yeah. First part was a little bit difficult for me because it's first year in a Belgian team. My English no is perfect also, and it's difficult sometimes the communication. But finally, all in the team is good person, and finally now I think is the best situation.
Yeah. It's cool to see too, and I think it works with what you just said. Initially, as you were speaking, initially in your career, the courses that fit you better were the fast courses, the one that you encounter on the Spanish scene where you grow up. But then slowly you're becoming much and much better on the specific hard Belgian courses. And this is something that I experienced too, where I struggled initially when I got to Belgium, because the courses are so different than what I'm used to. But I think every year that you go back, you start to learn the courses, and you start to learn how to ride those specific things. So for example, for me, the courses are often super bumpy in Belgium. Let's say it's not muddy, it will be bumpy. And it took me a while to figure out how to accelerate well on this. I was always out of the saddle, trying to be punchy.
Your back wheel.
it didn't work, you know? And I was like, I don't understand. Like, it's the same power that I put normally, but I'm not going faster. And I really struggled. But it seems like for you, you kept going back and going back and going back, and you have learned to hone those skills on these specific courses. So yeah, is that something that you think like happened, like your technique improved because now you're not just like the fast rider, you can be good at anything because you went back and back and back on it?
I think one of the most important things is I start my international career in third year in under 23, more later than the other riders. A lot of riders in Belgium, in Netherlands, ride in World Cups in junior, 2 years in junior, 4 years in under 23, and I start a little bit later because my progression is more later than the other riders, I think, for his reason, and also I think for riders outside Benelux and Netherlands and Belgium, I think need more power for stay in the front of the race, because every race in Belgium is new, and you need a confidence in the tracks, in the people, and for a Spanish guys, all is strange in first years, and you need some years for stay calm in Belgium and only go for a race.
If you was not born here in Spain, but if you would have been born in any Belgian village, would you have been a really good cyclocross rider on an earlier age, like, and what had taken some titles in Belgium? So would it basically, has a Belgian rider a big advantage on all the others?
I really think it's a little bit more easy for especially in cyclocross discipline, because in Spain we have a lot of teams for a road, also for mountain bike, is possible, but not for cyclocross. I need learn every steps. Nobody told me, hey, you use this tubular, you use this pressure, you use I don't know. Always is. You need try and later change the line if you need a difference, but always with my trainer we plan the season, the calendar, and I think sometimes we choose the correct line and sometimes no. I remember some years ago, I think 6 or 6 years ago, my plan was ride in the EKZ Cross in Swiss, and no is the normal way for a Spanish guy, but finally it was a super good decision. I was second in the GC, I think, and finally in the ranking UC, finally in 9 or 10 place. And next year we have a lot of sponsors with interest in Swiss, and it's different. The Belgian riders no use this way for go to the best performance, but for me was the best choice, and I think it's different. It's different if you are a cyclocross rider in Belgium guy or outside Belgium. Like French is possible more close because you is a little bit more easy travel to Belgium, but for the Italians or for the Spanish guys, also for Canadian riders or for USA riders, is difficult go to the best races, because you need travel in Europe for 2-3 months, and it's difficult, it's expensive, and you need a special team or special riders for staying in Belgium. No, I don't know, 2 months, and long from the home, the family is. I think it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's I like what you said though, because you like one of the things that you touched on is you find a way to make it your own. You know, like you didn't just follow what everybody does, but you figured out, okay, for me, you know what, I think there's value in going to Switzerland and race there and earn points. And so I think like it's fun to see your story and your progression and hear that you listened to yourself and found the thing that worked for you. You know, there's not one path to get to the top. There's a different path for everybody, and it's cool to see you followed yours. I think, is it correct that you also have been racing in Japan at some point? And if so, why? What was the idea behind that, and what did you learn from this experience racing in Japan?
No, I want in Japan only the UCI points. It's important for me because I want a good ranking finally. And really was really good because it's exotic news for a cyclocross. One Spanish guy riding in Japan is good for the little sponsor in this moment. And also because the Japan organization was pay the travel and pay money for a races. It was really easy for me travel to Japan because no need use my budget in this year for races important for the sponsors, important for the points, and also good for the money.
Yeah, super cool. I'm interested in going at some point.
Was good experience, right in Japan.
Yeah, it must be so different from what we are used to here.
Yeah, first year I ride alone with the Japan riders, but second year ride with Steve Chainel, and also the organization paid his travel and was good race. And I think it's important for cyclocross exploring different countries, but also I know it's difficult for big races go to in other continent like in USA in the past, and I think we need to change the rules, and the teams need help for travel and in a long World Cups,
Yeah.
like in Road. Finally, now we start the season in Australia, and no is the problem. But I think it's different. The teams cannot pay every travels for our riders in different continents, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's a difficult circle where we're in. Like, there's one country more or less who wants to spend a lot of money and has a lot of publicity for our sport, but we want to get it more all over the world, but we can't do it alone. And first of all, people need to be willing to organize a race, but then that costs a lot of money, but then we also need some support to get there. And so it's all in one circle. We need to like help each other, like all the different organizations to make it more around the world. And I think there are still many steps to go, but we try at least to go to some other countries now.
Yeah, but I think already it's happening a little bit, with the World Cup in Spain. And I think you guys had the European Championships that was in Spain also. And I think a few years ago that was not happening. So that's already... No. I mean, of course, we can always do more. And I mean, of course, I want it to be more international. Yeah. But it's cool to see that already it's growing. And, actually about those European Championship, Felipe, you got second. The races were really fun to watch. I mean, of course, I wasn't there. I just watched. But from what I hear...
I was there, and it was like the crowds were getting crazier and crazier. Closer to the final, they were running up and down to see you so many times, because you had one area where you could really see you a few times, and it was like on the wave of the sound. We knew where you are. It was so really cool. It was really cool to be there, to be part of that and to feel that energy. But what did that change like in Spain? Like, I'm sure you changed something.
Yeah. I think was on my best day on the bike in my country, the European champ, closer to the victory. Finally, Thibaut with me, but I know Thibaut is super good rider in last part of the race. And you told the people was crazy. Everybody supported me and was amazing. The people is really excited with the race, and also this weekend was the catastrophe in Valencia, the Dana, and it was a super emotional weekend. And I think this is the best for the popular cyclocross in Spain. He need races like this with the best riders, and one Spanish guy in the battle for the win. I think is important also. But we have now in Benidorm the World Cup, but also in the past we had a World Cup in Igorre in Basque Country, and also was popular effort in Baskeland. But now I think a lot of good riders in cyclocross change the way and go to the road teams. And I understand because you have more opportunities in road teams than in cyclocross. But for me, it was good choice continuing cyclocross, and now I'm professional rider for cyclocross, not for my road races.
And do you have ambitions to also ride? I mean, I know you ride on the road a little bit, but do you have ambitions to eventually ride, like make that your focus, or you're happy to just stay mostly focused on cyclocross? I think either way, like, I mean, it's an open question, but just also, I think it's cool that you made your own way into cyclocross, because that also shows some kids, you know, that, oh, if this is the discipline that you enjoy, it's possible to make a career and to make a living out of it. Like, it's fun to have someone that they can look up to and know that it's possible, and know that they don't necessarily have to follow the path of going on the road. Like, they can be cyclocross. But what about for you? Like, would you like to, at some point, like, focus on world tour racing?
Some spring classics or something?
I always keep the focus in cyclocross. I ride for Burgos BH during 3 years, and I always stop the summer season until August, more or less, for prepare good the cyclocross season. But okay, it's possible also if I see in the past, if I change my way and prepare good road season, and I have a better, it will. Sorry, I cannot explain. But it's possible in the past, if I have a good contract in World Tour team or other team, it's possible I change the way. But finally, I keep in cyclocross focus, and I think it's good choice because now finally I have a good contract in a Belgian team.
Yeah, I like it actually because like there are really a lot of good Spanish, like from history on, like so long, really crushing it on the roads, also in spring classics and sprinting with Frere and like climbing in the GCs, everything. So you really, I think you really followed your heart in the beginning as a young kid to make that decision, like, oh no, road, you know, it's nice to have a condition, but actually I want to play in the field and you know, do more like playing your bike and go crazy with that and choosing cyclocross path. And now, yes, like Maghalie also said, and I think you are doing, inspiring other kids to follow that path as well and show that it's not only the road where you can be the professional athlete earning money, but also in cyclocross, if you're not a Belgian or Dutch rider, you can be a professional athlete there.
Yeah. I am happy with this because I'm different rider. Okay, other rider is best riders than me, like you told, super good sprinters, good GC men, good sprint classics, but no not good in cyclocross. Now I am the best in the cyclocross history in Spain, and I think this is important for me, and it's a good inspiration for children, and this is one of the most motivation for me.
That's super cool.
Yeah, do you also do something at home, like to give kids some classes to grow them up in this world?
Yeah, now I think we have also a good young riders in cyclocross. In junior, we have Benjamin Noval, was second place in Dublin or third place, I think. And we have a good future in cyclocross, but I think the most important now in Spain is a intermediate step. We have a lot of riders with talent, but we need to go to the Belgium and Netherlands for best races in Christmas period, and also in World Cup for learn more in the important races. And I think it's now is the next step for a young Spanish rider.
Cool. We have some questions to get to know you a little bit. So now I think we got to know Felipe the rider a lot. And we have some questions to get to know you a little bit more. So one of the things that I read is that when you are not riding, your other passion or your other hobby is to ride motorcycles. So is that true? And if so, like, what type of motos do you ride? Why do you love motorcycles so much? Like, what does it bring you?
Yeah, la reality is the cycling provider is a little no time for more hobbies, but I like all sport, and it's difficult no practice other sport with you need train a lot for cycling, and no need change this way. But for me is the really hobby is the motorbike. I have 2 or 3 motorbikes, but only can use some parts on the season. But the other my other time I'm at home with the family. I think is the most important. And now with the cat and the dog, and I only enjoy the normal things.
What type of motorcycle do you have? Is it a road or for off-road?
Road.
And
They're
Lucinda,
beautiful
you also
roads
have
there.
one, huh?
Yeah.
Off-road in the past, but I think it's a little bit more dangerous. And I
It's
need
very
keep.
rocky here.
I think later when I stop my cycling career, I come back in the off-road motorbikes.
I love it.
Good ambitions.
And what do you love about it? Is it the speed? Is it like how fast it can go? Like, what is it? Like,
Yeah, I always tell my bestie the bad part for me in cycling is work with my leg, and the motorbike is the same, but without effort. Only need drive a motorbike, and it's the best.
Love it.
You have the same experience or even faster, but without getting tired.
Yeah. It's the
Best of
case.
both world. Okay, we have a few questions to just like rapid fire. So like the first thing that comes to mind. So just to get to know you like really quick. So Lucinda, do you want to do like we did last time where we exchanged?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So do you want me to start? I'll start.
Go for it.
So Felipe, what is your favorite Spanish food?
Paella. Of course.
I love it so
I
much.
love it.
Like the me too. When the
Valencian,
rice is crispy at the bottom, oh, so good.
I cook good paellas.
Oh, you cook
Oh, you cook
paella?
it?
Oh.
Yeah. Very good
Can
paella.
I come to your home after the race in Benidorm?
What is
every
I have a
year
question.
after the race in Benidorm, Benny Van Kassel, the assistant to Thibaut, come my home for eat paella.
Ah, really? Oh, he
I
did a
prepare
good.
for him.
And how do you cook it? Do you cook it on fire? Is that the traditional way? Like, how do you make it? Or on the barbecue? Like, how is it?
Yeah, it's different preparation in every part of the Spain, but I think in Alicante is the best.
And how is it?
But
Do you make a fire and you have like a special pan or?
yeah, no, it's a normal fire and a big one, and no steep, no steep rice, only
Okay.
a little part.
Okay. Love it.
I hear it's like really like not everybody can make it. I see it on his face. Like you have to
It's an
know
art.
how to do it. It's art. Yes, exactly. All right. Next
Yes.
question. Your favorite song for your warm up before a race?
Yeah, normally no listen music before the race during the warm up, only during the training. But I always listen rock in Valencian.
Okay.
Rock.
Rock in Valencian
Okay. We Google.
is my
We're
favorite.
going to Google it.
What is one country you would like to visit and why?
I think Australia is a good country. I want visit because never was before, and I think is exotic. Is the more long to from Spain, and I think is my next travel is in Australia.
And would you travel there with your bicycle, or would you prefer going there and rent a motorbike?
With a motorbike, but I think in Australia no is the good road for a motorbike because always is street.
Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah, next question. Which, yeah, I'm very curious if you know. What would you be when you was not a cyclist?
I don't know because before the start my professional career in cycling, I studied for firefighter, but finally stopped, and I don't know when I never think starting in a professional cycling, and I don't know where is my next step when I stop the cyclocross career.
It's still
Yeah.
far away.
Yeah, you still have time. Well,
I don't know.
Yes.
we never know.
Now I'm not the most young riders in the start list.
No, but you're still not 30, so you're fine.
Exactly. Look in the
Okay.
history and you see the people can keep on going for a long, long time. So as long as you stay healthy, that's the most important.
Yeah, of course. But always I saw the final classification, and okay, one or two riders in the top 10 is more big, more old than me, but the other guys is young. Now more young that old.
That's true.
I have the same feeling when I look at the start and the results nowadays.
I'm not talking
okay.
about it.
Yes. What is your favorite thing about your region that people should know about?
Yeah, I think the favorite here is the sun, of course, in winter, and also the Mediterranean food. I think is the best award, and also the everybody is familiar person, and I think it's the best place for life. I'm sure.
Oh,
Do
I
you
love
go
it.
often to the beach?
Yeah. I live only 2 kilometers to the beach. No go a lot of times in summer, but also is close is important.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for that. Let's finish about Benidorm World Cup. It's coming
The most
up.
important thing.
Yeah, it's the most important thing. So
Back focus
how-
on the in the Benidorm race.
exactly. Let's focus on the Benidorm, and then you're done. So that's it. So Benidorm World Cup is coming up. Were you involved in having it come to Costa Blanca initially 3 years ago when it started?
Yeah, the first idea, everybody think about this. You are crazy. It's impossible that in Benidorm 10,000 people go to support the riders, and now is I think it was one of the most popular races in the World Cup. And I think it's good for everybody, and I think the UCA need share most race like Benidorm.
And did they ask you anything for the course, like how to design the course?
No, really, I not design the course. The course. If I design the course a little more difficult part, but I think here is the underground is super different. It's like a mountain bike. The organization cannot choose more lines because it's difficult clean and prepared for a big velocities in the World Cup. But I think is good track because always the race is intensive and decided in the last part of the race, and this is good for the spectators.
I agree. I think it's one of the great races, actually. Like, I think, maybe it's not the most technical course, but it's technical in a different way.
It's
where
super
you're always
technical.
changing. Exactly. Like, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not the one that has, like, the crazy descent or anything. But
No.
It's still very technical in the sense that first you're going so fast and the surface is always changing, so you have to be really good with that. There's so many corners, so there's always something, and it makes for very fast and tactical races. So I think it's one of the really good ones.
For me, this surface is super hard. Like Felipe said, we in the north of Europe are totally not used to this kind of underground. So it's something that you really need to have a good feeling with and to understand what's going on. And yes, for sure, this is the most biggest advantage benefit Felipe will have on Sunday, like knowing how his bike will react on the underground. And it can be sometimes so slippery while the underground is super hard, and it's difficult to explain to people who do not ride a bike, but you can crash everywhere, basically, in my opinion.
True.
And that makes it so hard on this course.
Yeah, really, the underground is like a gravel. You need to choose a correct tubular, and I think in first edition I use a Rhino in front because the underground was super. I don't know what is the name, but last year was more that like a asphalt, more hard. But 2 years ago is more like a mountain bike. You need more.
It was a bit wet on the grass parts, yeah.
Yeah. And this year I think changed a little bit in the forest part. It's a little bit more hard, I think. But I know right before, but I think it's like first year you need a big streets in the more in the final part of the circuit. You have a little bit more climb.
Yeah, more climbing in the forest.
A little bit
That's
more
what I understood
hard.
too. Yeah. So
Last year you turn just before the downhill. You go up and go down, and I think you have another part in the most in the up after the climb. You have a little part more.
yeah, that's what I understood too. Yeah. So Yeah, it's no question. For sure, this is the race where you're peaking to, right? I mean, it's one of the biggest goals on your calendar. And you're right now 7th on the World Cup classification. This is also a goal, I think, like to maintain or even come higher, because it's very tight, the points.
Yeah. The World Cup, I think the 2 or 3 field riders is a lot of points, but the other one is super close. We have 3 races more, and Benidorm and Mechelen is good tracks for me, and I think I can win some position. But also last year in Hogerheide I was good, and really my bad tracks is done now, and I think I can move in front the GC.
Very cool. Well, we look
Sounds
forward
promising.
to watching that.
I
Yes.
want. Good expectation.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Felipe. That was awesome getting to know you, and it's been so cool watching your progression. And honestly, like as an international rider myself, like I love. I mean, honestly, nothing against the Belgian riders, but I just think it's so cool to see other nationalities on the podium and at the front of our sport. I think it's really important for the growth of cyclocross too. So, thank
Absolutely.
you and congrats for everything. And best of luck to the both of you in Benidorm this weekend. I'll be watching and cheering for you all.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me on the podcast. I'm super happy with this, and I hope come back here with more good places in World Cups and big races. And I learn more English for speak about cyclocross in best condition.
You were great. You were great. Don't worry about it.
I promise.
Thank you, everybody, for. Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Thank you to Whoop for presenting the Dirty Talks podcast every single week. People, if you are curious to try Whoop to improve your condition and to get to know your body better, you can go to join.whoop.com/dirtytalks, and this should give you 1 month to try Whoop for free. So thank you again, everybody. Good luck at the Benidorm World Cup, and people, make sure you watch it. It's always one of the best tactical races, so it should be a good show.